This is 5-Minute Feng Shui Podcast, episode 156, How to Unlock the Feng Shui of Your Home. Welcome to the 5-Minute Feng Shui Podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hello there and happy Tuesday afternoon. I am coming to you from a beautiful day and I am excited about today's episode. Now, it's a little bit more technical, but I think it's so vital that we talk about this, and that's how to unlock the feng shui in your home and the tool that helps you do it. This is essential to getting the best feng shui results every time. And it's something that I don't talk a lot about because it is technical and it's not the fun part of feng shui. It's the, get out your slide rule and that kind of thing. But it's so essential. And in fact, I'm going to talk to you about this because I want you to be prepared for next year. We have got some awesome energy that's coming up. In fact, the energy for next year is going to be doubled. Where it's doubly good, it's going to be doubly bad too, unfortunately. And if you really know where the corners are in your house, and I mean really know, down to taking measurements and all of that good stuff, it's going to make all the difference in the world. And I will tell you that this point was illustrated to me than none other than a Red Lotus reader who sent me the most wonderful email a week ago and talked about how important it is to know what you're doing with your facing direction. So I'm going to read you this letter. Hopefully it's not too long, but I think it's so important because I got a lot of feedback about this letter and how many people loved hearing about Irma's story. So here it is. Let me read this to you from Irma herself. I have written this email a million times in my head, and this morning I have finally decided to put it in an email. In advance, please pardon the lengthy email. I don't want to admit too many details. Did I say admit? Omit. I can't remember when I began to be curious about feng shui, but I had heard the term before and didn't understand what it was. Then on May 18th, 2014, how's that for specific? An email came across my inbox for the 28 Days to Prosperity program. My life with my husband and 2 kids was comfortable, modest, middle-class income, low-paying job, and living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted a little more. I had nothing to lose. The program was free, and I signed up for it. I followed the day-by-day program, and voila. In July 2014, a better job opportunity presented itself. I accepted this opportunity and left my job of 23 years. At the time, I don't believe I knew what was happening or attributed the changes to feng shui. However, I liked the feeling of not being stuck and having changes manifest in our lives. I continue with feng shui practices because you made it so simple and explained everything with such detail that helped me understand. In December 2014, I bought the Success Pack and continued putting feng shui into practice. I identified my home's corners, addressed the monthly afflictions, etc. In 2015, once again, a new opportunity arrived. I was recruited by a different company with double the salary. With a change in a better earning position, we were able to invest our home and make some repairs on our house, slowly making progress year after year. Fast forward to 2020 when the pandemic began. Our son had his own apartment but lost his job, so we encouraged him to move in with us and with my elderly mother too. In July 2020, I began to look around and wish for a bigger home that was able to accommodate our living arrangement and our growing family. In August 2020, 1 month later, we found the perfect home. We all loved it. However, I didn't take the time to figure out the correct corners of the home. Shame on me. I assumed my front door was a south-facing door, and I continued to do my feng shui placements based on this assumption. Soon after moving in, the dock broke, the air handler broke, then my husband became ill, I was infected with COVID, then our roof sprung a leak, there was water filling up in the living room. Then there was water flooding in the garage. I lost my job. My daughter was depressed. My mother was constantly not feeling well. We had a loss of income and we were exhausted and physically and mentally drained. My last resort was to hire you to do a consultation with me about our new home and help me figure out what was wrong. When I went on your Red Lotus website, you were very specific about wanting drawings and compass readings. So as I started working on those to email you, I realized I did not have a south-facing door, but a southwest-facing door. It is now November 2021 as I write this email, and it's now that I am realizing why we were having such a difficult year. In addition to that, when you drive in, you're driving down into the garage, and I have a sloping backyard that ends in water. Even though we found our perfect house, I'm having second thoughts about it all. I've been reading and re-listening to all your podcasts, and I can't express how important it is to do a compass reading. Well, my friend, thank you so much, Irma, for writing, because you have said in your great detail, which is so helpful. Am I right? I mean, this was a beautiful, heartfelt email. And I felt it. I could see her situation and how frustrating that can be when you've built up, and things are going right, and then suddenly you're rolling down a greased hill. And I can feel that from her. She raises the most important point, and that is knowing exactly. And this is why I'm talking to you today. I want you to know exactly, not guess, not think, not question. We have to know exactly the way our house is aligned, exactly the way our house is situated, what the directions are, what the exact corners are, because this will make all the difference in your Feng Shui. And with the year that we've got coming, with amazing, great energies and some difficult energies that are going to be everybody's going to their home spot. All the stars are going to their home location. So they're going to be strengthened this year. They're all going to be comfortable. Like everybody's in their jeans and comfy shoes and they're more relaxed. And you know how it is when you feel relaxed, you feel more energetic. Well, that's what's happening. We are going to have energies that are going to be in this state of being in their best state. And the last thing I want you to have is problems with the difficult energies. And I want you to have all the benefits of all the great energies that are coming, because there are some knockouts coming next year. And unfortunately, some knockouts not in a good way too. So let's talk about the important tool that every home must have in order to really understand your Feng Shui. And that's the compass. Just a standard camping compass. Now, if you've been confused about how to assign the corners of your home, this is the secret weapon in the Feng Shui arsenal. It's the compass. Now, a lot of Feng Shui experts recommend locating all the sectors of your home by orienting off the door to the room or the direction of the house by assigning the front as north. And this is one form of Feng Shui. And if that works for you, that's great. But if you want to apply classical Feng Shui, you really need to know those sectors. And what I find is that way of always saying the front of the house is north can be confusing, because there may be more than one entryway to a room. And what if your front door actually faces west or southeast? Now, in traditional Feng Shui, all home and office directions are determined by their actual directions, not assigned ones, like the assigned direction of north. The upper left-hand corner as well. The upper right or the back right-hand corner is relationships. It's by actual compass directions. So this is one of the ways that by using those actual directions, you are helping to tap into the Earth's own energy. Think about we have lines of energy. We know that for a fact. It's scientifically proven. This is not, esoteric theoretical stuff. This is actual truth, north and south. We know that all things are magnetized north. Why is that? Because that's the top. That's at the top of our universe, or our Earth, and as we float as a ball out in the cosmos. Now, a real compass will help you tune into the Earth's energy. By using those true compass directions, you enhance the reception of the energy from that direction, such as career help from the north, wealth opportunity in the Southeast, fame and recognition in the South. Now, how does this really help you? Well, if a home or business is like a satellite dish, when it's oriented correctly, the television picture of our life comes in clear and crisp. And that makes for faster and better Feng Shui results. That's what I promise you. Now, this means that you need to know exactly where your Feng Shui corners are. So most of the time, you might guess where your corners are, and then you may wonder why your Feng Shui isn't working the way you want it to. Now, Feng Shui masters often use a compass called a lo pan. But for most people, a simple $10 camping compass is all you need. Now, as you know, every direction offers benefits like health, wealth, romance, helpful people, love, fame, and recognition. But in order to tap into all the benefits of each corner, you have to know exactly where your home's corners are. I won't kid you, it does take a little work. But once you know it and you have it down on paper, so many things will become apparent to you. A lot of times people think they have a bathroom in their health direction. It turns out to be in their wealth sector. That's why it's so important to be accurate and get your floor plan down on paper. Start by making a to-scale drawing of your floor plan. Once you have that, you're ready to go. I find it's really easy to do. Most of the time you can find a plat to your home. Sometimes landscapers, architects, or builders will have a copy of your actual floor plan. You can sometimes look it up online and find them. You can also use plain old graph paper. You can also use a plat drawing and just enlarge that. But graph paper, if you just measure outside the outside walls of your house every 2 feet, you would mark that down on a square of graph paper until you have measured it all out and drawn it all out. Then you have the outer dimensions of your house, and then you can see exactly where those corners are. Now, it's so important that you do that, though. It takes time, I know, but it's worth the trouble. Now, let's talk about the steps that you're going to take once you have your house diagrammed. You actually have a floor plan. Now, let's talk about the steps that you need to take to get all those corners diagrammed and set up so that you know exactly where they are. The first thing that we're going to do, and the easiest way to understand exactly where all the corners are, is just to draw a tic-tac-toe grid over your floor plan. This tic-tac-toe grid is called the magic Loshu square, and it unlocks the Feng Shui in any space, and it's a whole lot easier to use in a bagua. Now, if you go to my new article, if you go to redlotusletter.com/blog, you'll see my most recent article, and it's about using a compass, and it goes through all the steps, and it has all these diagrams. And I'm not going to go into all the details about the diagrams because you can go and look that up there. And I think it's really important that you put some eyes on this. I know you love to listen and I love to talk to you, but some things are really hard to talk through. It's kind of like doing surgery by radio. No one would want to do that. And I don't want you to do that here. But I'm just going to kind of talk you through some of it. Now, let's get back to this Loshu square. Now, of course, all homes aren't absolutely square. We've got L-shaped homes. We've got T-shaped homes. There's even W-shaped and Z-shaped homes. Generally, what you want to do is just apply a tic-tac-toe grid that are equal sizes, completely equal, over your entire floor plan. So that means, is your garage attached? Include it. Whatever is attached under the same floor plan, or not the floor plan, but under the same roof and under the same foundation, that goes into your floor plan. If you have a detached garage, don't include that. If your garage is kind of stuck on the side of the house, you can do it both ways. I always like to do it both ways because I find it gives me a lot more understanding. So the other thing you want to look at is like an L shape. If you have an L-shaped floor plan, you're going to have missing sectors. Some shapes like the W, the T, the Z, the L, yeah, it's all quite an alphabet soup of house shapes, right? You're going to have missing sectors or missing corners, especially like those L shapes. And you may find that your front door actually enters in the middle of your house. This is very common with L shapes, that the front door is actually in the middle, but it leaves two, maybe sometimes more sectors that are completely missing. be sure to check out that article because once you see it, it's going to make a lot more sense. Now, the other thing we have to watch for is a door that's either turned, it's not facing the same direction that the rest of the house is, or maybe you have a door that's either to the left of the middle or to the right of the middle. In that case, you're going to take a reading with your compass. You're going to take it and you're going to apply that direction to the front center square of your tic-tac-toe grid. Again, looking at this online is going to make a whole lot more sense. So if you want to look at this while you're listening to this podcast, maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. Now, I know a lot of folks want to know, what do you do if your door doesn't face the street? Then you're going to stand in the center of your home. Like if there's a window that's kind of in the middle of your home, this happens a lot in design. There's a kind of a common design concepts in home design. And one of the common things is when there's a turn door, a lot of times there's like a dining room window or a living room window that's in the center of the house. You're going to stand at the front center of your house and take a reading that looks out toward the street. That's how you would do that. Now, if your door is turned, you're still going to do the same thing. If the door is off-center, same thing. And then we'll go through the rest of the steps. But take that reading and find out what the compass says. Does it say that you're 182 south? Does it say that you're 3 degrees north? Whatever it is, we're going to take that reading down so you can understand exactly what it says. Now, what do you do if you live in an apartment? This is a really special case. This many times depends on the way your apartment is oriented and the way it's set up. There are so many different kinds of apartments. I can't even name them all. Unlike homes that have kind of a similar sort of arrangement, apartments can be anything. So if you're looking to understand your corners, one of the easy ways that you can do it is just stand in the center of your apartment and find the north and south. Where's the north and south? And then you can kind of orient from there. The other thing is you have a really big wide picture window, like sometimes high-rise apartments or condos have a big picture window. That's where you might take your reading. Many times it's in the center of the apartment. That's where I would take the reading from and then work on your low shoe square from there. Now, as you're reading the compass, what's important to know is we don't care where north is. We don't care where all the directions are. And we don't care if the directions seem off to you because you're standing in your house. That's exactly what we're trying to find out, because your house affects the way the directions come in. And this means that metal around your door, or maybe you have a metal door. All these things, electricity, impact the type of direction and the way energy moves in your house. So we actually want that. Some people say, but that's not actually true north, or that's not actually, correct because of this and that. I get this a lot from pilots. And that's okay. And I'm so glad that when you're at the helm there, and in the pilot seat, that you're perfectly aware of exactly where directions are. But your house actually influences directions. So we want to take the reading to understand exactly how your house, those energies are coming into your house. So here you go. You're going to stand with a compass at your waist level and make sure you get, if there's a little bubble, and that it's centered, and you want to make sure that compass is moving and floating freely in there. And then you're going to turn the dial to line up. Usually it's a red arrow or a point or the tip of an arrow that you line up with north, and then you read the line to the direction that you're pointing, and that tells you the direction. Please go online and look for more information about how to read a compass. I know YouTube's full of videos on how you can do it. But what's important, though, is that you don't have your phone on you, that you don't have, a big metal belt or lots of jewelry on you, because that will impact the reading that you get. Now, why don't I recommend smartphones? Smartphones are an electronic instrument measuring a magnetic reading. Electronics and magnetics are like oil and water. Both of them are great in their own way, but together they don't mix, right? So what we always want to use is a magnetic compass to take the reading and to get an accurate reading, because You can have fluctuations. Right now we have geomagnetic storms going on, and that can affect the compass in your phone. So to be most accurate, I would go with a magnetic compass. All right, so once you've gotten your reading, now we're going to determine the direction that your door faces. Because when you have that degree, you're going to write down that degree, because that's your facing direction. And I have a table in this article that I was talking about. That's my most recent post online. And if you do a search on my website, redlotusletter.com, and use the search button and put compass in there, you will find this article, How to Unlock the Feng Shui of Your Home with a Compass. And now let's talk about this. So once you've got this actual degree reading, now we're going to find exactly where it is, because some compasses, very few, have the subdirections that are noted on them. Most of the time, compasses are only going to be noting the north, east, south, and west, which are the main directions, and then the subdirections are southeast, southwest, northwest, and northeast. Those are rarely used on compasses, so it'd be hard to find that. But I have a table that will tell you exactly the degrees, and if it's northeast 1, northeast 2, northeast 3, because there's actually in Feng Shui 24 directions. So use this table that I've got for you all set up. Now, once you've got the degree, you're going to assign your sectors. That means you've got your floor plan. You have your tic-tac-toe diagram over it. You know the facing degree is 57 degrees, and that tells us that that's a Northwest 3 house. Or maybe your house is 221 degrees, then it's a Southwest 2 house. Now the example that I have on the article is a Southwest house. And it is, so you're going to assign your sectors. So for instance, the main entrance of this house, being that it's southwest, is going to have the middle sector, because I just used a regular floor plan with a house that has a door right at the front that's going to open up to the southwest. And then what you're going to do is, going in a clockwise circle, you're going to go and assign each of the squares, your tic-tac-toe grid, with the direction that it is. So from southwest, if you go in a clockwise, then if you look at the plan to the left, the next sector is going to be west, and then the middle sector is going to be northwest, and then the back left is going to be north, and so on. And you're going to do that no matter what direction that your house is facing. So this is a simple assignment, but it takes time. But here's what I can promise you. You're going to feel so much better when you get to see it on paper. And when people talk about Feng Shui consultants, that they come into their home, they look around and they read the environment. Well, I don't know, maybe they do. And there might be people who can do that. But a real Feng Shui consultant should be actually looking at your house on paper, because when you see it on paper and you look at it and you're seeing it flat in front of you, you can see, oh gosh, there's a toilet there. Or I had no idea my kitchen was in my romance direction, or that I had a laundry room in my marital sector. No wonder we've been struggling. This is going to open your eyes in such a way. Plus, when next year comes around and it's the year of the tiger, and you're hearing you got to do this in the north sector, you got to do this in the south sector, or whatever, you're going to have that diagram to look at. And remember Irma's email from the top of this podcast, and how much she talked about the importance of knowing, not assuming. Because this is what's very interesting. She probably was looking at the sun and said, hey, I think it's a south-facing house. And that can happen. You will look at the sun and go, oh, I think it's this. And the sun isn't stagnant. It does not rise in the same place every day. It is not dead on east. What it does is it moves. It moves as the year goes. Like for instance, as the year goes more toward the fall, the sun moves more from the west to the southwest. This is important information to know. So you could get it wrong if you go by the sun. Now, take the lesson from Irma, because you don't want to go in either to the new year not knowing exactly where everything is and having a good feel for it, so you can really apply all the great Feng Shui things that are that we have, and really get all the benefit from the Year of the Tiger and the wonderful things that are coming, and handle the issues. Many times people have no idea that they had a kitchen sink or a laundry room or a toilet or something like that that's smack in the center, which if you do, that's a great thing next year. Normally, not such a great thing, but next year, fabulous. So count yourself lucky. And it really helps when you have that diagram so that you know exactly where it is. All right, well, there you go. This is how to use a compass so you will accurately determine the feng shui of your space and any space, because this way you're going to be confident that your house is divided up and the corners are marked correctly and accurately. And you'll learn where your wealth or fame and relationship sectors are exactly, and you'll be able to capitalize on that by creating a harmonious, supportive, and successful environment and head off problems. Well, thank you, my friend, for listening to 5-Minute Feng Shui today, and I so appreciate. Now, do check out this article that I was telling you about, because I have a free guide, a download with a bagua and some instructions on how to map out your home and get it diagrammed, plus all those good instructions and all the exact compass degrees, so you know exactly what your facing direction is. So make sure you go and check that out. I'm going to leave you with the top 3 tips. And the top 3 tips are, number 1, have a diagram of your home. Absolutely got to have a diagram. Number 2, make sure that you have an understanding of your home's facing direction. Very important that you know exactly the direction that is. Is it southwest? Is it south? Is it west? Is it northwest? Got to know that. And then lastly, make sure your corners are all marked and you have it all set out. So next year, when Year of the Tiger rolls around, or any year, you are going to be there ready to maximize all the benefits and handle any of the issues that we have to contend with, because we always do every year. And that will keep you in good feng shui stead. All right, my friend, thank you so much. And Year of the Tiger I am up to my up to my knees in Year of the Tiger right now, working diligently to get this ready and get this out for you. And I will have a release date very soon. So be on the watch and listen for an upcoming announcement about release dates. All right, have a great day. I'll talk to you next week on 5-Minute Feng Shui. You know, the Year of the Tiger is coming, and I can't wait to talk with you about what all is in store. We have a clean sweep, a transformational year of water energy with the Water Tiger in 2022. That means big change is coming. No longer will we have the stricture and constriction of the metal years that we've just come out of with COVID and the pandemic. We have got a clean sweep of energy coming in next year, and I can't wait to tell you all about it in my 2022 Year of the Tiger Feng Shui forecast and success path. Stay tuned right here for a release date that's coming soon.